5 Peaceful Truths Seniors Know About Death. At 90, she told me this about the end. Have you ever wondered how seniors view death differently from the rest of us? As we age, many people begin to fear death, but my grandma, who lived to be 90, had a completely different perspective. One evening while we were sitting together, she casually told me, "I'm not afraid of death anymore." Naturally, I asked her what she meant, and her answer completely shifted my view. This isn't just her story. Many seniors, as they approach the later years of their lives, develop a peaceful acceptance of death, shaped by a lifetime of experience and wisdom. This mindset allows them to live fully, without the anxiety of what's to come. In today's video, we'll explore why seniors stop fearing death, and how their views on life and death can teach us all a valuable lesson about embracing the present and letting go of unnecessary fear. Welcome to Elderly Wisdom Secrets, where we uncover timeless lessons from those who've lived through it all. Today, I'll share my grandma's perspective on death and how it can help you live more peacefully and fearlessly. At the core of my grandma's perspective on death is a deep sense of acceptance. Over the years, she has come to understand that death is not something to fear, but rather a natural part of life's cycle. Her wisdom came from embracing the inevitable and finding peace in the knowledge that life and death are connected. She often said, "Why waste time worrying about when it will come? We don't have control over that, but we do have control over how we live right now." Seniors, like my grandma, have lived through countless experiences, loss, love, and change, and many of them come to realize that death is simply another chapter in the story of life. It's not an end, but a transition. The more you focus on living with purpose, joy, and connection, the less power the fear of death holds over you. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or resigning to fate. It means making peace with the fact that life, like everything else, is impermanent. Studies on psychological well-being in seniors reveal that older adults who have accepted the reality of death often experience reduced anxiety, increased emotional stability, and a more content life. The ability to embrace mortality with grace isn't something that just happens overnight. It's a mindset that develops over time, often shaped by life's experiences and the wisdom that comes with aging. My grandma's acceptance of death gave her the freedom to live fully, without the constant weight of fear hanging over her. Try it now. Reflect on your own views about death. Are there areas where fear still holds you back? Acceptance doesn't mean you stop living or loving. It means living with peace. Consider today how you can embrace life more fully and release unnecessary fear of what is inevitable. Now that we've explored the core value of acceptance and how it helps seniors overcome the fear of death, let's dive deeper into the practical lessons and perspectives my grandma shared about this topic. These insights aren't just about death, they're about how to live a more peaceful and fulfilling life, free from the constant worry of the unknown. Lesson number 1. Embrace the present moment. Gem 1. One of the first things my grandma told me about why she no longer fears death was that living in the present moment gave her peace. She said, "If I spend my days worrying about what's coming, I'm missing the beauty of today." My grandma had a way of appreciating life's small joys, whether it was a cup of tea in the morning, a walk in the garden, or a good conversation with a friend. She taught me that focusing on the now, instead of obsessing over the future, allows us to live fully. By living with awareness and gratitude, she was able to make each day meaningful. When you stop constantly looking ahead or fearing what's to come, you realize just how much you have right now to be grateful for. Try it now. Today, take a few moments to fully immerse yourself in the present. Whether it's enjoying your favorite meal, listening to music, or simply breathing in the fresh air, practice being present in those moments and let go of any worries about what's ahead. Lesson number 2. Understanding that life is impermanent. Gem 2. Another key insight from my grandma was that she understood life is impermanent. Everything comes and goes, and that includes us. She often reminded me that everything in life, from the changing seasons to the relationships we cherish, has its time. When you accept that impermanence is part of life, it becomes easier to let go of the fear of death. Death is simply another part of this natural cycle. For my grandma, this understanding gave her peace, knowing that her life had been full of love, experiences, and memories. She wasn't afraid to let go because she had already experienced the richness of life. It wasn't about holding on forever, but about appreciating the moments she had. Try it now. Take a moment to think about the things or people in your life that you may be holding on to too tightly. What can you let go of to make space for more peace? Embrace the impermanence of life and see how it can free you from unnecessary attachment. Lesson number 3. Focusing on what you can control. Gem 3. One of the most profound lessons my grandma taught me was to focus on what you can control. She said, death will come when it's meant to, and there's nothing I can do about that. What matters is how I choose to live today. This perspective was liberating. Instead of fearing what she couldn't control, my grandma put her energy into the things she could control, her attitude, her relationships, and the way she spent her time. She chose to surround herself with loved ones, take care of her health, and find joy in the simple things. This focus on what she could control gave her a sense of empowerment. She wasn't at the mercy of death. She was making the most of the time she had, and that allowed her to live with less fear and more purpose. Try it now. Think about an area of your life where you feel anxious or uncertain. What's something you can control in that situation? Take a small step today to focus on that aspect and let go of things outside your control. Lesson number 4. Finding peace through connection. Gem 4. Grandma also believed that connection, whether with family, friends, or community, was one of the greatest sources of peace. She often said, when you're connected to others, death doesn't feel so lonely. Her focus on building meaningful relationships was a way to counterbalance the fear of death. She was always there for others, and they in turn were there for her. Through her actions, she reminded me that life is about relationships, not just achievements or possessions. She wasn't afraid of death because she knew she had built a life full of love, support, and genuine connections. When you know that you have left a legacy of kindness and care, death seems less like an ending and more like a natural part of the circle of life. Try it now. Reflect on your relationships. Are there people you haven't spoken to in a while who could use a connection? Take a moment to reach out, even if it's just a quick message or phone call. Connection is what makes us feel alive and loved, both in life and beyond. Lesson number 5. Accepting death as a teacher. Gem 5. Finally, Grandma taught me that death itself can be a teacher. Rather than fearing it, she saw it as a reminder to live more intentionally. She once said, "The knowledge that my time is limited makes every moment precious." With this mindset, she lived her days with a deep sense of purpose and joy, understanding that death is a part of life's great lesson, teaching us to cherish each moment and live fully. She didn't wait for the perfect time to pursue her passions or reconnect with people. She lived with intention every day, knowing that death would come, but life is happening now. Try it now. Think about something in your life you've been putting off. What can you do today to live with more purpose? Take action, even if it's just a small step, to make your life feel more meaningful right now. These 5 lessons, living fully, embracing impermanence, focusing on what you can control, building connections, and seeing death as a teacher, helped my grandma approach death with peace and acceptance. They allowed her to live without the weight of fear, knowing that every moment of life was precious. Try it now. Take a moment to reflect on these lessons and think about how you can apply them in your own life. Whether it's focusing on what truly matters, living in the present, or embracing your connections, these steps can help you live more peacefully and fearlessly. Beyond the core lessons that help my grandma approach death with peace, there are a few additional tips that can help anyone, no matter their age, shift their mindset and live with less fear. One of the most important takeaways is that embracing mortality helps us live more intentionally. When we acknowledge that life is finite, it creates a sense of urgency to make the most of the time we have. Grandma's perspective on death made her prioritize what truly mattered: her relationships, her passions, and the present moment. By accepting the inevitable, she was able to let go of unnecessary distractions and focus on what brought her joy. Research supports this idea. Studies have found that contemplating mortality and recognizing the impermanence of life can lead to greater life satisfaction, mental clarity, and a stronger sense of purpose. Instead of fearing the end, we can use it as a catalyst for living more fully, just as my grandma did. Another valuable benefit of accepting death is that it can reduce the burden of anxiety and stress. Seniors who are at peace with their mortality tend to experience lower levels of depression and fear of the unknown. When we stop trying to avoid death and instead accept it as part of the natural cycle, we create space for greater mental peace and emotional resilience. Grandma's approach also highlights the importance of legacy. She didn't fear death because she knew she had left behind a life full of love, lessons, and memories. For her, death wasn't a void. It was simply the next step in the journey. She had lived in a way that created lasting impact, not through material things, but through the connections and memories she created with the people she loved. Try it now. Reflect on your own life. Are there any fears or anxieties about death that you're holding on to? What small shift in mindset can you make today to start living more intentionally, embracing mortality, and reducing unnecessary stress? So there you have it, the wisdom that helped my grandma live peacefully and without fear of death. By embracing the present moment, accepting impermanence, focusing on what you can control, building meaningful connections, and seeing death as a teacher, she found a deep sense of peace that allowed her to face the end of life with calmness and acceptance. Death, for her, wasn't an enemy, but simply another part of the cycle of life that she was prepared to meet when the time came. These lessons aren't just for seniors, they're for everyone. No matter where you are in life, adopting a mindset of peaceful acceptance can help you live with less anxiety and more purpose, knowing that death is not something to fear, but something that reminds us to cherish every moment we have. Try it now. Take a moment today to reflect on the lessons from this video. How can you embrace life more fully and let go of the fear of death? Whether it's living intentionally, focusing on your relationships, or accepting life's natural cycle, take one step today to live more fearlessly. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who could benefit from these insights, and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Secrets for more life-changing wisdom. We'll continue to explore how the experiences of our elders can help us live better, fuller lives. Until next time, take care, live with intention, and remember, life is precious, so let's make the most of it while we can.